Awesome. All right, well, hello everyone. Thanks so much for being here today. My name is Amy Dolan, and I'm a conservation biologist with the Xerces Society for Invertebrate Conservation, and I'm the coordinator of the Mountain States Bumblebee Atlas. I live in Grand Junction, Colorado, but my work allows me to travel and connect with folks all across Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, and Nevada. The Xerces Society is a science-based nonprofit conservation organization. Our mission is to conserve invertebrates and the habitats that support them. The Xerces home office is in Portland, Oregon, but most of my coworkers, like me, are working remotely across the US on projects like firefly and butterfly counts, habitat restoration projects, and so much more, including, of course, the Bumblebee Atlas. You've likely heard that our pollinators are at risk. Populations of native bees, including bumblebees, have experienced significant declines since the 1990s. Data show that 25% of our 50 North American bumblebee species are vulnerable, threatened, or endangered. Disease, habitat loss, pesticides, and climate change are all having negative compounding impacts on bumblebee health. We all know that pollinators are required for many natural and agricultural plants to reproduce. Without pollinators, every ecosystem on Earth would be drastically different than it currently is. This is why action is needed to support bumblebees and other pollinator conservation efforts. So what actions can we take? Everyone can plant flowers the bees need for food. Remember that bumblebees need flowers all season long from early spring until late fall, so planting a variety of species with different bloom times is best. We can also create safe habitat for nesting and overwintering. Many bumblebee species nest underground, in rock or brush piles, or at the base of bunch grasses. Bumblebee queens overwinter a few inches deep in loose soil, leaf litter, or compost. Additionally, organizations like Xerces have filed petitions to get our most imperiled species protection under the Endangered Species Act. ESA protection raises awareness and leads to critical habitat being protected. But one big need remains, and that's the need for data. Despite their familiarity, there's a lot we don't know about bumblebees, their habits, and their current ranges. We need to know where our bumblebees are and the resources they're relying on so we can make informed conservation decisions. Bumblebees are small, they're mobile, and they can be really difficult to find and track, especially if the work is being done solely by an individual or a small group of researchers. This is where the Bumblebee Atlas and community science becomes so valuable. The Bumblebee Atlas project was launched and created to find and map our native bumblebees across large regional scales using a standardized protocol. We want to learn where their ranges, what their ranges currently look like, which type of habitats they're utilizing, and which flowers they're relying on. Xerces' first Bumblebee Atlas launched in the Pacific Northwest in 2018, and the effort has been expanding ever since. This past summer, volunteers in 20 different states were joining this community science effort. The project that I'm leading, the Mountain States Bumblebee Atlas, launched in June and spans the states of Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, and Nevada. Each dot on this map is a bumblebee observation that has been recorded since the year 2000. Many of these are from iNaturalist, and others are from research projects done by universities or land management agencies. You can definitely see where our population centers are. Where there are more people, there tend to be more observations. But notice there are many gaps. These 4 states contain a lot of rugged, remote land and places where no one has yet looked for bumblebees. We don't know which species are found in these areas and what resources are available for them. These are the areas where we need atlas surveys. Based on historic museum collections going back over 100 years, we know that the mountainous regions of North America are hotspots of bumblebee diversity. This is a really fun place to look for bumblebees. Over half of North America's 50 species have historically been found in the mountain states. And these are the species that we want to learn more about their current ranges and their needs. In addition to knowing where all of our bumblebee species can be found, there are 6 species of greatest conservation need with historic ranges in Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, and Nevada. These 6 species have been shown to be at risk and have all been petitioned for listing under the Endangered Species Act. We especially want to know where these 6 species currently are found so we can preserve essential habitat and help their populations recover. Participation in the Atlas is really fun and it's incredibly easy. Anyone, regardless of background knowledge, is encouraged to participate. We already have a diversity of volunteers from agency biologists and master gardeners to middle school groups and people who just want to learn more and help bees. Volunteers learn the protocols, adopt a grid cell, survey for bumblebees, and then submit data online. Training can be done in multiple ways. We host live webinars and post training videos online. Print materials like the Regional Participant Handbook and other materials are openly available on the Atlas website. We also host in-person events. Throughout the spring and summer, I'll be traveling throughout the 4-state region, leading workshops and field training events. It's important for volunteers to attend or view a training and read the participant manual because there's standardized protocols that all volunteers follow. This standardized protocol is what makes the Atlas even more valuable than incidental observations like the ones recorded on iNaturalist. iNaturalist is a fantastic resource that helps us identify where bumblebees have been seen, but when an Atlas survey is done, we add a lot more data to that observation. We know how long the volunteer was looking for bumblebees and gather a variety of habitat data as well. These pieces of information are essential when analyzing data and turning that analysis into evidence-based conservation recommendations for land managers. Once volunteers understand the protocols, they are asked to adopt one or more grid cells. Our 4-state region has been divided into 371 50 by 50 kilometer grid cells. We use this grid cell strategy in an attempt to evenly distribute our survey effort across the region. Adopting a grid cell is an important step of the project because it's the point where the volunteer commits to conducting at least 2 standardized Atlas surveys during the field season. Volunteers can adopt more than one grid cell, and each grid cell can be adopted by more than one volunteer. Of course, it makes sense to adopt a grid cell where you live, but we also want to encourage volunteers to get out and help us survey those really remote places, thinking about a place you might want to vacation or an area you've been wanting to explore. The surveys themselves are the best part. They're really fun. Volunteers head out to a site of their choosing within their adopted grid cell. They need to take a net, files, camera, data sheet, and a cooler of ice to find and catch bumblebees. Volunteers survey for a total of 45 minutes. Once a bee is captured, it's placed into a vial on ice. The ice chills the bees down to immobilize them, but it doesn't harm them. Chilled, immobilized bees are so much more cooperative for photographs, and good photographs are essential for the success of this project because we need good pictures from multiple angles to be able to identify each bee to species. The bees wake up after a few minutes and fly away unharmed. Volunteers use the data sheet we provide to record information like location, time, temperature, habitat type, and the floral host of each bee captured and photographed. The final step is to upload the data and photos to the bumblebeewatch.org website, which is our data management platform. Volunteers can log into their account to track their surveys and observations and see when their photographs have been identified by an expert. Volunteers can also see maps of where bees have been collected and photos of bees taken by others. I'm really excited about this project because I know the power of community science. The Mountain States Bumblebee Atlas began just this past June, and I'm really proud of what was accomplished in our first year. 68 grid cells were adopted, 177 surveys were conducted, resulting in over 800 bumblebee observations. We detected 21 different species, including 4 of our species of greatest conservation need. But as you can see, we still have a lot of area to cover. I'm already looking forward to the 2025 field season and planning training events. I can't wait to see what we accomplish together. If you're interested in joining the Atlas or know of an organization or individual that might be interested in helping or partnering, please reach out. That's my email address, and that is our website. Also, please come visit with me during the poster session later today to chat more, share ideas, and get any of your questions answered. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
Wow, thank you.